All right, everybody. So I do want to offer a bit of a disclaimer for anybody that's new that we're confirming tonight, or anybody that's watching, that this is, and hopefully at some point we'll get kind of a full shot of all of us, but this is our Senate meeting. So this is kind of a fun break, or our Halloween Senate meeting, excuse me, kind of a fun break from the business casual professional that we usually are. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun tonight. But with that, the time is 6:04 p.m. and I hereby call this Halloween-themed meeting of the Student Senate to order. And with that, we'll begin with a roll call. When I call your name, please say here or present. Iono Dimhoff. Moran. Rahman. I'll take it. Rolls. Jones. Belzer. O'Connor. Utica. Palin. Nievenhoven. Kekun. Azan. Kameyer. Pedasani. Hartley. Agarwal. Shamsai. Verger. Gopa. No Gopa. Snyder. Momini. Nondal. Sloop. Pursley. And Cronin. With that, we do have quorum for the evening. And with that, we'll move into the Pledge of Allegiance led by Vice Speaker Pursley. All right, it's been moved to add Senator Gopa to the roll. Are there any objections to doing so? Seeing none, he shall be sat. And with that, seeing no Senate program for this evening, we'll move directly into open forum. Open forum shall serve as an opportunity for students to speak about any issues relevant to the student body. If anyone is here tonight for open forum, I would ask that you approach the podium at this time. And I would ask that senators close or mostly close their laptops as a sign of respect to our speaker. Thank you, and this time is yours.
As you all know, I'm Director Batman. And I just wanted to wish all of our students, all of our senators and directors, and anybody else who is listening, a very happy Halloween.
And with that, is there anyone else here tonight for open forum? Seeing no one else, with that, we'll move into adopting this evening's agenda. Are there any amendments before we do so? All right, moved and seconded, or excuse me, just moved to remove, it was 023F and 022F?
Yes.
From external matters. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Are there any objections? Seeing no objections, the amendment shall be made. We're now back on the agenda as a whole.
I also motion to add 2024-2-007SC to the bottom of special orders, and I motion to add 2024-2-001A and 2024-2-028F to the bottom of new business.
All right, there's been a motion to, just to make sure I have that right, to add item 007SC to the bottom of special orders, and then to the bottom of general orders, items 001A and 028F.
No, to new business 001A and 028F.
New business, excuse me.
But
So
yes.
is there a second? Moved and seconded. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the amendment shall be made. Again, back on the agenda as a whole. So with that, is there a motion to adopt the agenda? Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the agenda shall be adopted. And with that, we'll move into approving the minutes of last Senate. Is there a motion to do so? Can I take one of those as a second? Moved and seconded to adopt the previous minutes. Are there any objections to doing so? Seeing no objections, they shall be adopted. And with that, we'll move into committee reports, starting with the Rules Committee and Speaker Momini.
Rules Committee still has open seats, so if you're interested, please let me know. Other than that, if you are a member of Rules, please come in. I'll be sending out a message in our group chat so that way we can have a meeting this week. Something came up regarding a resolution, so that's all the updates that I have for Rules.
All right, with that, the floor is open for questions. Seeing no questions, we'll move on to the Finance Committee.
How's it going, guys? Not much for me tonight. You'll be voting on now one bill, the water polo bill, and then we'll see Senate favorable.
All right. Seeing no questions or comments, we'll move on to PR.
How's it going, everyone? PR met last week, and we talked about a lot of outreach initiatives. So just kick off homecoming. A couple of members of student government went to the homecoming kickoff, and that was a great success. I believe we will be doing the raffle very soon, or soon after Senate, and we'll get those winners from Sunday. And then outreach, again with outreach, there's going to be more outreach events in the near future. With the podcast, we have established roles of who is going to be doing what within the podcast. Marketing, there's going to be a lot of posts coming up in the near future related to homecoming. There's already been one for the kickoff, and there's going to be more in the near future. Then there's also going to be spotlight posts for the Instagram as well for each senator and cabinet member. Then IT, they're working on the website, and if you guys see anything wrong with the website, please let us know, and we will get that fixed. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it.
With that, the floor is open. Seeing no questions, we'll move on to the Idea Committee.
Hey everyone, happy Halloween. And not a lot of updates from IDEA so far. We had a really long meeting with ISSO talking about a lot of different stuff. And then we also have a lunch coming up with MSA next week, and let's see how that goes.
All right, and so with that, the floor is open for questions, starting with Senator Azan.
Can you talk about like what other stuff? Like, you said some stuffs. Can you be specific? Like what are the things that you're talking about?
Like
these days?
what we discussed in the ISSO
Yeah.
meeting. So that one was specifically about like career fairs and international employment opportunities. So it wasn't just ISSO, we also had people from business career services and like all the 5 career services at the university. And we all kind of talked about all the small little things that we can do to kind of bring together and enhance it as a whole, because we talked about like logistics of doing an international career fair specifically and what the obstacles could be. So that does not seem like something that can be achieved as a short-term goal, but that is definitely in mind for, that's something we're working towards. Sorry. Sophia has something to add.
We are also working to collaborate with the Parks Library, ISSO for Prep Week and international students.
Awesome. Second question is, what are the thoughts on like the DI thing that is going on? It's pretty controversial. Did you get a chance to talk about any of these stuff?
Yes, so that is something that I'm going to be meeting with Cassandra. She's a City of Ames official, and we do have a meeting set up for next weekend. She's not in office for this week, but that is something that I'm obviously concerned about and excited to kind of talk to her about, and yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Awesome.
Also, Martin told us that we can keep doing whatever we're doing because we're a student-run organization, so we're safe on that.
Awesome. Thank you. Are you?
Yep.
All right, with that, the floor is still open. Seeing no other questions or comments, with that, we'll move on to the Events Committee.
Hey y'all, hope you are having a great Wednesday. Not much from events today. If you guys volunteered more than an hour at the conference, we would love for you to come get a swag bag. You can either come talk to me or Monet. And then also, Line Dancing Club has a meeting tonight at 7:45. So please go to that if you're interested.
All right, with that, are there any questions or comments for the Events Committee? Seeing none, we'll move on to Local Affairs.
Oh no, now this one's on. Okay. So we just Local Affairs just finalized our agenda for the joint meeting with City Council, which is again on November 20th at 5 p.m. Yeah, you guys all got it? Okay, perfect. We're gonna look into more outreach things that we can do and everything else. That being said, Still, anything you guys want to talk about, if you could send it my way, just like whatever topics you want to talk about, so we can bring any reports that are necessary to our meeting so we can make it the most productive meeting possible.
And with that, the floor is open. Seeing no questions, we'll move on to sustainability.
All right. Hi, guys. So first of all, I sent yesterday a survey for everyone to take. Yes, senators, you do have to do work. I'm sorry that I am having you guys do that. It'll take about 5 minutes. It should just be in the chat, the general chat. So please make sure to fill that out. We also presented all of our fun projects to Cabinet this week, which was really fun to get to share our ideas with everyone and all of the progress that we've been making with our committee. As well, on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, on the 5th, we have a post-homecoming cleanup. So if you are in a fraternity or sorority, please make sure to sign up. It's going to be really cool and really fun, and you'll get service hours, which is epic. As well, please follow our Instagram. We just kicked off Spotlights, which is really cool because we get to show you guys who all is helping us make the committee what it is. If you have any ideas or projects that you think could use a little bit of a sustainability boost, or you want to collaborate with us, please make sure to email Abby and I. Our emails are on the student government website, or you can just look us up. And as well, we do want to say that we do have a couple of spots for senators, so if any of you are interested in the Sustainability Committee, we would love to have you.
And with that, the floor is open for questions. Seeing none, we'll move on to health and wellness.
Hey guys, not too much to report this week from health and wellness. We're kind of working on the projects I named last week, the two of the main ones being coming up with a green flags poster to spread awareness for that. We're working with PR right now to figure out how we can make that happen. And then the second one, we're going to set up some meetings in November with Thielen to kind of hear more about what they can do and how we can spread awareness for some of the things that they offer students.
The floor is open. Seeing no questions or comments, we'll move on to the legislative ambassadors.
Okay, Colby, sorry he can't be here. He's attending the World Food Prize for his internship. He doesn't have a lot to report on, but they'll be sitting more at-larges and senators to legislative ambassadors next week. And other than that, they're working on finalizing their legislative strategies for the year and people we want to talk to at the Capitol.
With that, the floor is open. Seeing no questions or comments, we'll move into that other category. This is an opportunity to share about any committees that are not otherwise represented on tonight's agenda. Seeing no updates, we'll move on to comments from the judicial branch.
All right, is it working through the mask? All right, cool. So we've met in person now, and we are just trying to get everyone assigned to certain projects. We're going to try and restart mock trial. Most of the material's already ready for that. We just need senators that are willing, so be on the lookout for an email from Max. And we are also working on a resource packet to kind of help guide people on what the judicial branch can help them with.
Are there any questions for the court? Seeing none, we'll move on to comments from our advisor.
I'll keep it short and sweet. Just a reminder to have a happy and safe Halloween.
All right, are there any questions? Seeing none, we'll move on to comments from the executive branch with President Hirsch.
Hey everyone, love the outfits. I think Senator Sloop wins though. I hate telling everyone that, and I think that's just the best outfit ever. No, and so I don't have too much from the president's side, the executive branch. We continue to have our executive council meetings, and again, that's a committee, meetings that we started this year, and they've been going really well. We're very close on getting our new administrative assistant. We've submitted an offer to a candidate. We're waiting to hear back. No matter who we ultimately end up going with, they're going to be housed next to our student government main office. That way that administrative assistant is accessible to you, and they're able to help assist you in all the projects that you guys are working on. Again, you know, however we can support Senate, even though we're on the executive side, that's what we want to do. We want to support everyone here.
All right, are there any questions or comments for the executive branch? Seeing none, we'll move into the business of this evening, starting with External Matter 2024-2-024F, funding the Water Polo Club with Senator Snyder.
Hi guys, so you did see this bill last week. This is a finance bill for Water Polo Club for them to go to a tournament at University of Missouri. As Director Martinez said, this bill did pass favorably from the Finance Committee. After a few revisions, we did lower the cost that the club requested. Other than that, I yield.
All right, so with that, the floor is open, starting with Speaker Momini.
I motion to table this until the representative gets here. They are on their way. How soon? 5 minutes. I motion to table it for 5 minutes.
I don't know how feasible it is
Yeah,
to
that's
table it for a
true.
length of time, but if you do just table it, we can pick it back up from the table at
I
any
motion
point.
to
So,
table this bill.
is there a second? Moved and seconded. Are there any objections? Seeing none, it shall be tabled. And so with that, before we circle back, we'll move into special orders, starting with item 2024-2-002 SD, seating a United Residents of Off-Campus Senator with Speaker Momini.
Okay, so all of the senators that you're going to see tonight were sent favorably by rules. I will invite the current one on this bill up to the podium. I would also just like to acknowledge that I'm going to delete the finance portion of this bill and possibly from all the other bills if they're there. That's all. Aiden? Aiden, yes.
Well, hello everybody. My name's Aiden. I'm a freshman here at Iowa State. I'm majoring in civil engineering with a minor in political science, and I'm just kind of looking to use my voice and perspective in order to help the Iowa State student body and and to better Iowa State for all students who attend.
All right, and so, I apologize, I didn't mean to cut you off
I was
there.
going to ask if anybody has questions.
Perfect timing, that's what I was going to ask as well. So with that, the floor is open for questions or comments. Starting with Senator Kameyer.
Thank you. Sorry. Do you have any projects in specific that you want to start on once you get to be part of Senate?
I don't have any like specific ideas, but kind of one thing I was thinking about was helping like freshmen who are living off campus kind of connect with the Iowa State community. I'm not exactly sure how to go about that yet, but it's something I'm working on.
Senator Gopa.
What committees would you like to serve on?
I'm interested in the Sustainability Committee as well as the Rules Committee.
So you're a freshman. How long do you think you're going to stay in stugov for? Like, just an informal question, like, it doesn't really matter.
Right. I'd like to stay in it as long as possible, although next year I will be doing a co-op, so I'm not sure how that will work, but
Like the starting of next year?
yes.
So you'd be here for like 3 months, like a month right now, and then you'd go.
Yeah, I'll be here for all of this year.
Okay.
This school year.
Senator Azan.
Can you describe yourself in one word? Any adjectives?
Passionate.
All right, with that, the floor is still open for debate.
Call of questions?
Is there a second? Sorry, was there a second on that? I didn't catch. Thank you. Moved and seconded to end debate at this time. Are there any objections to doing so? Seeing no objections, closing comments with Speaker Momini. Seeing no closing comments, UC has been called for. Are there any objections to passing this nominee by way of unanimous consent? Seeing no objections, congratulations, the motion carries. Here.
Thank you, guys.
And if we could have you stay up there for 1 second, we'll get you sworn in here. You may wish to take off the mask. You may wish to take off the mask. That'd be great, thank you.
All right, go ahead and raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear or affirm. I do solemnly swear or affirm. To execute the duties of my position. To execute the duties of my position. As prescribed in the Constitution. As prescribed in the Constitution. And the laws of this government. And the laws of this government. For the benefit of all students. For the benefit of all students. Congratulations. Thank
All right, with that, I would entertain a motion to add Senator James to the roll. Are there any objections? Seeing no objections, he shall be sat. All right, and so we'll get a placard for you soon, but you can take a seat wherever you like at the table.
I motion to, what is that?
Pick back up.
To pick back up 2024-2-024F.
Moved and seconded to pick back up item 024F from the table. Are there any objections to doing so? Seeing no objections, we'll then move into item 024F, funding the Water Polo Club with Senator Snyder.
I'll yield my time to our president, Ryan Losh.
Hello, sorry for being late. Event ran a little late for peer mentorship. Anyways, this is just a bill. We have a upcoming tournament this weekend down in the University of Missouri. It's a good friendly competition for us to get ready and warmed up for nationals, which we just qualified for last weekend. So it's a great opportunity for us to build a little more chemistry between us and some of the newer players and represent our school at another school. So. Just a little bit of funding to help us get there and pay for the tournament fee would be greatly appreciated since we're a smaller club and could use a little bit of extra funding.
And with that, the floor is open for debate. Moved and seconded to end debate at this time. Are there any objections to doing so? Seeing no objections, closing comments, Senator Snyder. All right, seeing no closing comments and seeing as this is a finance bill, we'll move directly into a roll call. When I call your name, please say yes, no, or of course you may abstain. Iono Dimhoff. Yes. Moran. Yes. Rahman. Yes. Rolls. Yes. Jones. Yes. Pelzer. Yes. O'Connor. Yes. Utica. Yes. Hallen. Yes. Nievenhoven. Yes. Kuhn. Yes. Azan. Kameyer? Yes. Pedasani? Yes. Hartley? Yes. Agarwal? Yes. Shamsai? Yes. Verger? Yes. Gopa? Yes. Snyder? Abstain. Momini? Yes. Nondal? Yes. Sloop? Yes. Pursley? Yes. Cronin? Yes. And James? Yes. 1 second while we tally that. All right, so with a vote of 25 to 0 to 1, congratulations, the motion carries.
Thank you, guys.
With that, we'll continue with our special orders. Next, seeing item 2024-2-003 SD, seating a United Residents of Off-Campus Senator with Speaker Momini.
I am going to delete that finance table and invite Paige Bailey up to the podium to tell us a little bit about herself. What do you mean?
On here it says 2024-2-003.
And I also am going to make a friendly to change the lettering from SG to SD to match our agenda. That's true. Well, on the agenda. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Paige Bailey. I'm a double major in political science and advertising with a minor in Spanish. And I would like to be an off-campus senator because I think it's really important to make an impact and make those who often feel unheard, heard. So.
All right, and so with that, the floor is open, starting with Senator Jones.
Sorry. Hey, Paige. My question for you is, do you have any plans or ideas that you want to bring to Senate?
I think safety is really important, especially for students off campus. So I would really like to implement a blue light system, similar to what other campuses have, so that students off campus can feel more safe, as it feels harder to get an access with resources that on-campus students have. So I think a blue light system could help solve that.
All right, so with that, the floor is open for any further debate. Moved and seconded to end debate. Are there any objections to doing so? Seeing no objections, closing comments with Speaker Momini. UC has been called for. Are there any objections to passing this nominee by way of unanimous consent? Seeing no objections, congratulations, the motion carries. And if we can get our new senator sworn in from the court, that would be great. Once again, ideally not wearing the mask if at all possible.
Go ahead and raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
to execute the duties of my position
to execute the duties of my position
as prescribed in the Constitution
as prescribed in the Constitution
and the laws of this government
and the laws of this government
for the benefit of all students.
for the benefit of all students.
Congratulations.
With that, I would entertain a motion to add Senator Bailey to the roll. Are there any objections? Seeing none, she shall be added. So with that, we'll move into item 2024-2-004 SD, seating a United Residents of Off-Campus Senator with Speaker Momini.
I'm going to invite Chase Johnson up to the field and make the same friendlies that I did for the previous bills.
Hello, everyone. I'm Chase Johnson. I'm currently a junior here at Iowa State. I'm majoring in accounting and minoring in finance. And I would say the main reason I want to join student government is to apply my ideas and actually make a greater impact here than I already have. And any questions?
That, the floor is open for questions, starting with Senator Azan.
You said ideas. Can you be specific? What ideas do you have? What projects you want to bring up?
Well, I think the previous person who was up here had the idea of, like at a school in Minnesota, they have, you're able to like press a button if you're in danger. I know we have different resources here for that, like on your phone, but say if someone's phone dies or they don't have service, I mean, what good's that gonna do if they're in danger? So I would say that's the main one I wanna go off of. I won't take credit for it, but it's an idea I've had in the past.
Senator Agarwal.
You said you wanted to make a bigger impact than one that you have already made. Can you talk about your previous leadership experience?
Yeah, so here I haven't had any leadership experience at Iowa State. I've had other leadership experience within like my church at home. Like I sang in the church choir, and I've had volunteer experiences. But besides that, that's another reason I wanted to join, to try and elevate myself and the community I'm in, if I could be in a leadership experience one day. So I just thought this would be the first step.
Okay, and so with that, the floor is open for any further debate. Moved and seconded to end debate. Are there any objections to doing so? Seeing no objections, closing comments with Speaker Momini. UC has been called for. Are there any objections to passing this nominee by way of unanimous consent? Seeing no objections, congratulations, the motion carries.
I motion to recess after this for 3 minutes so that way we can add a new table because we're running out of seats.
Okay, I'm
Wait,
gonna give
I
one moment to
withdraw.
swear in this new senator, and then
Go.
we'll move ahead with that motion. I would briefly entertain a motion to add Senator, I didn't mean to interrupt the applause, I apologize, to add Senator Johnson to the roll. Any objections? Seeing none, he shall be added. Moved and seconded to recess for 3 minutes while we get more tables for our new senators. Are there any objections to doing so? Seeing none, we will recess until 6:36. All right, everyone, if we can get seated again here real quick. All right, and so with that, I hereby call this meeting back to order. And we'll now move into item 2024-2-0, it's supposed to be 005 SD, seating a United Residents of Off-Campus Senator with Speaker Momini.
Gonna make those same friendly amendments and invite Lauren Neal up to the podium to tell us about herself.
Planning and environmental science. I wanted to join student government because I see a lot of opportunity to help other students and really make a difference on campus and try and improve Iowa State for the better.
And with that, the floor is open. Floor is open for debate, starting with Senator Gopa.
What ideas do you have? What committees do you want to join? And how long do you expect to stay here for?
So in terms of committees, I'm interested in either rules or local affairs. As far as ideas, I don't have anything implementable. I have looked into, for off-campus students specifically, some universities such as University of Iowa and Penn State have programs where they'll have online portals for off-campus students to find other students that are looking for off-campus roommates or apartments, and kind of makes that process a little simpler for students. So I think implementing something like that at Iowa State would be really nice. As for how long I'll be here, I have at least another 3 semesters here at Iowa State, but will most likely be taking 5 total.
And with that, pardon? Is there a second? Senator Azan.
Again, can you describe yourself in one word? Adjectives or anything? Yeah.
I would say resilient.
Resilient. Awesome. Thank you.
Second. Moved and seconded to end debate. Are there any objections to doing so? Seeing no objections, closing comments with Speaker Momini. UC has been called for. Are there any objections to passing this nominee by way of unanimous consent? Seeing no objections, congratulations, the motion carries.
I do solemnly swear or affirm to execute the duties of my position as prescribed in the Constitution and the laws of this government for the good of all students. Congratulations.
I would entertain a motion to add Senator Neal to the roll. Are there any objections? None, she shall be added. Next, we'll see item 2024-2-006 SD, seating a United Residents of Off-Campus Senator with Senator Pedisani.
We're seating a new senator, Maria Dugan. I would like to have, is she here? Yes.
Hello, this is super exciting to see all of your very awesome and interesting costumes. I wanted to thank you all for the opportunity to share why I'm passionate about serving as an off-campus senator. As you know, my name is Maria Dugan. I'm a third-year graduate student in the chemistry department, and I've had time to become closely acquainted with our campus and understand the unique needs of graduate students, particularly in areas like health, wellness, and safety. One initiative I'm excited to share is implementing safe rides for off-campus students. With so many graduate and undergraduate students living off campus, the lack of accessible transport can hinder participation for on-campus events, as well as those held on weekends, especially outside of business hours. The Safe Ride program would encourage students to fully engage with our campus community. Another focus of mine is health and wellness, so I'd love to join the Health and Wellness Committee, not only to deepen my understanding of current on-campus resources, but also to work toward comprehensive wellness initiatives for the mind, body, and soul. I know that many of these aspects in our life are tightly interconnected, and so I'd love to support students on all fronts. I'm also looking forward I'm also looking to a future in law school to combine my chemistry PhD with a career in science policy. So I see that being part of the Student Senate would be invaluable for my professional journey, as it will provide me experience in governance and advocacy. So my current work on the Graduate Student Liaison Committee and previous work as a member of the Midwest Retreat for Diversity in Chemistry Planning Committee, sorry, it's a mouthful, has prepared me well for this role, where I have experience in successful event planning, networking, and fundraising. One word to describe myself would be perseverance, which means to continue in a course of action without regard for discouragement, opposition, or previous failure. I'm dedicated to advocating for all students, and I'm ready to bring my experience and drive to the Senate. So thank you, and let me know if you have any questions.
Floor is open for questions, starting with Senator Azan.
I'm just gonna vouch for Maria. She is a great leader. I know her, and she's gonna do great in Senate. So that's just a couple of words in her favor. Maria, can you tell about any fun fact about yourself?
I taught myself to play the piano at age 6.
Awesome. I yield.
Senator Agarwal.
I don't really have a question, but I would like to tell you that I appreciate you giving such a comprehensive and well thought out speech.
Thank you.
Moved and seconded to end debate at this time. Are there any objections to doing so? No objections. Closing comments with Senator Pedisani. No closing comments, but UC has been called for. Are there any objections to passing this nominee by way of unanimous consent? No objections. Congratulations. The motion carries.
Solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
to execute the duties of my position
to execute the duties of my position
as prescribed in the Constitution
as prescribed in the Constitution
and the laws of this government
and the laws of this government
for the good of all students.
for the good of all students.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And with that, we'll move in. Oh, I apologize. First, I would entertain a motion to add Senator Dugan to the roll.
So moved.
Are there any objections? None, she shall be added. And so with that, now we'll move on to item 2024-2-007SD, seating a College of Agriculture and Life Sciences Senator with Speaker Momini.
I am going to invite her up to the podium to tell us a little bit about herself.
Hi, my name is Maddie Reinhardt. I am a sophomore majoring in animal science and microbiology on the pre-vet track. I'm from North Carolina, and I want to be a Cal Senator because I really want to give the Cal students more of a voice and a reason to be able to get involved in their community, and also just be a direct path to communicating with the Cal students as well as the student government.
With that, the floor is open, starting with Senator Gopa.
Same questions again, projects, committees, how long will you stay here for, and one word to describe yourself.
Okay, I would like to join the Sustainability Committee, and the reason I want to join the Sustainability Committee is because I'm a Cal student, which basically just means that we are really involved in the environment and agriculture, and I feel like sustainability is a big part of agriculture. I really want to answer your other question, I really want to make more volunteer opportunities for the Cal students that could really directly correlate with sustainability because it's a big part of animal science and micro. And one word to describe myself, I would say driven, just because I really like to reach my goals and I just work hard to do so.
With that, the floor is open. Is there a second? Moved and seconded to end debate. Are there any objections to doing so? Seeing no objections, closing comments with Speaker Momini. UC has been called for. Are there any objections to passing this nominee by way of unanimous consent? Seeing no objections, congratulations, the motion carries.
Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
to execute the duties of my position
to execute the duties of my position
as prescribed in the Constitution
as prescribed in the Constitution
and the laws of this government
and the laws of this government
for the benefit of all students.
for the benefit of all students.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
With that, I would entertain a motion to add Senator Reinhardt to the roll. Are there any objections? None, she shall be sat. So with that, we'll move on to item 2024-2-007SC, executive nomination for Director of Academic Affairs with Senator Pedisani.
We have the Director of Academic Affairs position vacant, so we will be seating someone to that position if we can have Rachel Frost.
Good evening, Senators. My name is Rachel Frost, and I'm currently a junior double majoring in political science and international studies. I think this position is really exciting because academics are the reason we come to college in the first place, and the opportunity to have an impact on this crucial part of the Iowa State experience is super exciting. In terms of previous experience, I have a lot of leadership experience. An example of this is I've worked as a counselor for the past 2 years at an Iowa leadership training camp where we work on developing high school leaders and helping them become the best of themselves and elevate their councils to a higher level of excellence. And then additionally to that, in college, I have served for this past year as the Collegiate Panhellenic Council Vice President of Council Standards and Integrity, which is the council that oversees the sororities on campus. And some work I've done personally with academic-related topics have been working with student conduct here at Iowa State to work on how we can alleviate academic dishonesty. And then I've also worked with our scholarship chair, which is similar to academic affairs, on how we can do better at getting students involved in academic events. We recently did a bubble soccer on campus as like a different break activity, and it was super popular and it was a great experience. And then in terms of academics personally, I'm involved in multiple honor societies, including Gamma Sigma Lambda, which is an academic honor society, Order of Omega, which is a leadership honor society, and then the Iowa State Honors Program. So I have personal experience striving for academic excellence, and I understand that in this position, I will need to represent the academic needs of all Iowa State students, assist the president and vice president in their execution of key academic priorities, which for this year is the idea of not having exams during prep week, which I think is super exciting as a prospect. And yeah, I'm just really excited about all the potential ideas we can have. Thank you for your consideration. The prospect of extending the work I have completed already to the entirety of our Iowa State community is exciting, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity.
That floor is open, starting with Senator Agarwal.
I don't have a question again. I just wanted to thank you for taking the time to draft out an actual speech.
Senator Kameyer.
Again. So first question for Senator Pedisani. Is this supposed to be 003 SC or 007?
It's supposed to be 007 SC.
Okay. If you could just change the title in the top left, that would be great. And then question for you. So one of the most important parts of this position is being able to sit on faculty senate and just kind of learn and take minutes from that. How flexible is your schedule to be able to go to those meetings?
That's a great question. I've already looked ahead at this type of thing, and this is something that would definitely be a priority to me, and so I'd really be willing to make that commitment. And additionally, with the position I'll be holding on the Collegiate Panhellenic Council this upcoming year, I have scheduling flexibility because I help create the schedule, so that helps as well. But yeah, I think that it's something that I would definitely prioritize.
The floor is open for any. Oh, I apologize. Did you have something else?
One more. Sorry.
Apologies.
And then have you had to give things like committee reports before to, I mean, I don't know how to describe this, but to organizations like us, how would you describe your ability to give a report of something as large as Faculty Senate? Thank you.
Sure. That's a great question. So one of my responsibilities on the Collegiate Panhellenic Council is giving a report every other week to our delegates, which is a member of every single sorority at Iowa State. And so giving a report of the activities that I've been doing and how we've been improving our council is something I'm very familiar with.
Apologies. Now I think the floor is open for any further discussion. Moved and seconded to end debate. Are there any objections to doing so? No objections. Closing comments with Senator Pedisani.
UC.
UC has been called for. Are there any objections to passing this nominee by way of unanimous consent? No objections. Congratulations. The motion carries.
I motion to table 2024-2-003J.
I would say I do apologize. We don't have to swear in directors, just for some context for your. My apologies. I'm sorry, your motion was to table.
2024-2-003J.
Motion to table item 003J. Once again, this would be tabling it in a manner that we could pick it up at any time of our choosing. Moved and seconded to table that. Are there any objections to doing so? Do you wish to state the nature of your objection?
I think if you read this resolution, you can see clearly that it was written for this time. And if we are going to table this resolution, I think we should just do it indefinitely and make a new one if we're going to propose one at the end of the season.
So I'll give either of you the opportunity to withdraw, or we'll just enter debate on the motion.
Am I allowed to rebut or no?
Well, assuming neither of you withdraw, then it becomes a debate. So if you do wish to add, then let's just say the floor is open for debate. Neither of you have withdrawn, and we'll start with Speaker Momney.
We decided to table this because it is so controversial, and I don't feel like arguing about it for 45 minutes. So if we could just table it, we could pick it up, or we could never pick it up again and just propose a new piece when it comes. That's the beauty of tabling something. You table it, you can pick it back up, or you can never touch it, and it can stay on the table for the rest of its life. And if we choose to pick it up, we can amend it like we do any other bill. That's all I have to say. Hope that helps.
Senator Azan.
I mean, that was the point of Senator Noha, as far as I understand. I think tabling it will bring up every time, in the next bill, every time again and again. So tabling it for a certain time period will make sense. So are you comfortable like putting a week limit on it or tabling it for indefinitely?
There is no difference other than the fact that you're saying that in a couple of weeks it will be back up. This is just easiest for whenever, maybe we wait until the season for football is done. Maybe we wait and, looks like it was already over. Wait. Anyways, tabling it, you can pick it up whenever you want. We don't have to put a time limit on it. Putting a time limit on it is not practical for the type of bill that this is, in my opinion. And I don't think that we should table it indefinitely because
we can still pick it up if it's still indefinitely
we could
tabled.
pick it up, or no, you can't. If you table something indefinitely, you cannot pick it up again. But if you just table something, you don't have to pick it up ever again.
I yield down, yeah.
Why are we debating tabling? Can we just move on, guys? Like, does it really matter to you at the end of the day if we're tabling this indefinitely or tabling it for a couple weeks? Because it's not that hard to write this. We can rewrite this really, really quickly instead of debating tabling. This is not important. We got other bills to talk about.
Okay. Sorry, everyone. Just last thing, just on the motion to table it indefinitely, if we don't pass it tonight, then we'll have to rewrite the entire thing, just based on how it's written. So let's just table it indefinitely.
I don't think it would be hard to rewrite the bill since we already have it written. So I don't see the point on why we're debating on tabling this. Apparently it's not going to pass. It's just, we have other things to do than to debate this bill. We have so many better things to do, like funding later on. Okay.
I'm going to try and explain this as concisely as possible. When you table something, you can pick it back up. a bill like this, we would make an amendment when it comes back on the floor. If we so choose to pick it up, if we table it indefinitely, the bill will have to be rewritten as a whole. It will get a different number. It's just a different process. And as it stands right now, if you guys just vote to table it, then we won't have to go into another vote. If you guys all vote no and we don't table it, then somebody's gonna make another motion to table it indefinitely and we'll have 2 votes. If you just vote yes, you table it, and then if nobody ever wants to pick it up again, it never gets picked up again. It's that simple. I don't know how else to simplify it for you. The only difference between tabling something and tabling it indefinitely is that we never pick it up again, but it still exists. It's not like it doesn't not exist, the bill still exists. Or you could just table it right now, and then if nobody feels strongly enough to pick it back up, that's where it stays. It stays on the table. I yield. Call the question.
Well, are there any objections? Are there any objections to doing so? Seeing no objections, UC has been called for. Are there any objections to tabling this bill by way of unanimous consent? Seeing no objections, it shall be tabled. Next, we'll see item 2024-2-004J, Students on Campus Appreciating Roles Yearly for Halloween, AKA the Scary for Halloween resolution from Speaker Momini.
All right, y'all, give it a read. It just says thank you to everybody who came up and dressed up for Halloween. It is not a part of your duty. You certainly were not required to, but we appreciate you guys taking some time and being a little silly. And I love Halloween, so I think it's great that so many of us dressed up. And I think, if I'm not wrong, we have 31 people on the roll right now. I'm pretty sure. I think we have 31. We have 34 people on the roll. On the roll, 31 senators sitting around the table. Pretty spooky. That's all I got.
With Senator Azan.
Can you describe the word obstacles? You use this year, no obstacles are present. What do you mean by obstacles, whatever the pronunciation? Yes.
Obstacle.
What do you mean? What type of obstacles typically happen in past?
Usually we have our city council meeting the week of Halloween. This week, this year we specifically planned around not having it fall on that day so we could dress up. That's what I'm referring to.
Awesome.
That the floor is open for any further debate. Moved and seconded to end debate. Are there any objections to doing so? Pardon? Seeing no objections, closing comments with Speaker Momini. Right. UC has been called for. Are there any objections to passing this resolution by way of unanimous consent? No objections, the motion carries. Next, we'll move into item 2024-2-002SR, appreciating the Thielen Student Health Center for hiring an additional full-time doctor or physician assistant, PA, with Senator Azan.
Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to amend the bill as reflected on the screen. So there was some additional information that I got from Thielen Health Center. I was working on this project back and forth. Based on the feedback that they received, they started the process of hiring the additional doctor and PA. And this bill is to acknowledge and appreciate the work that they are doing for the student body. So motion to amend the bill as reflected on the screen.
Moved and seconded to amend this bill as again reflected on screen. Are there any objections to those amendments? Being none, they shall be made. We're now back on the bill as a whole. So Senator Zahn, if you had anything else for your opening?
Yeah, that's pretty much
All right, we'll open the floor then, starting with Senator Pedisani.
Have they hired the doctor yet, or are they still looking into hiring the doctor?
So the leadership has decided to start the process, so it will take time. They have not hired the person.
So can we amend the title of the bill to reflect that they're in the process of hiring, not for hiring? Because there's a drastic difference between the two.
I will take it as a friendly.
Fair enough. Is there any further discussion? Or a call to question? Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to end debate at this time. Are there any objections to doing so? No objections. Closing comments with Senator Azan.
UC.
UC has been called for. Are there any objections to passing this resolution by way of unanimous consent? No objections, the motion carries. With that, we'll move into our new business for this evening. And so just as kind of a point of order / information for our new senators, new business items, you may ask a question, but it has to be a yes or no question. This is just kind of background information. And then next week is when we'll have a full debate and actually vote on these items. So if that, will start with item 2024-2-025F, Ethics Bowl competition trip funding with Senator Kammeier.
Hi, everyone. So this was a funding request for Ethics Bowl. Something of note is that they haven't been around for very long, so they have a little different funding requirements. But essentially what they are just asking for is a trip to the University of Chicago for one of their competitions. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask.
With that, the floor is open for questions of intent. Seeing no questions of intent, we'll pick this item back up next week for voting and move on instead to item 2024-2-026F, funding the Africa Learning and Evolving Community with Senator Jones.
Hi, everyone. It's another funding request. Feel free to ask any questions.
With that, the floor is open for questions of intent. Seeing none, once again, we'll pick this back up next week and move on to 2024-2-027F, funding Trend Magazine with Senator Jones.
Also me again. If anyone has any question with this funding request, ask away.
Questions of intent, starting with Senator Azan.
I do remember pretty much seeing this bill like last year probably. And the concern was about the interest of the students back then. Did you guys conduct any polling or survey to get the interest of the students? How many students are interested?
I can't answer that. No.
Okay. Thank you. Are you?
All right, Senator Gopa.
From what I remember, that was not for Trend Magazine. That was for a different magazine. And have you guys considered how much funding they're getting from outside fundraising? Because I don't think it's included in this bill. Because they do fundraise outside.
Yes.
With that, are questions of intent? Seeing none, this will return next week. Move on to item 2024-2-001A, Senate apportionment with Speaker Momini.
Alrighty, y'all. The Election Commission will be here next week to talk about this, or? Can I yield my opening?
No, you can, yes.
As everyone should know, this is apportionment. This is data based off last year. There is one change in regards to seating. UROC is losing 1 seat, so instead of 11, it will go down to 10 for starting within elections in the spring. So that is the only change that does happen. Any questions?
That the floor is open for questions of intent, starting with Vice Speaker Pursley.
So does that just mean we have less of a total?
Further questions of intent? Senator Azan.
Do you get this data from registrar office?
Yes.
Any further questions of intent? Seeing none, this will return next week. And we'll move on to item 2024-2-028F, funding for the Election Commission. And in the absence of Senator Moisango, that will go to Senator Jones.
Hi, everyone. Another funding request. Feel free to ask any questions.
Floor is open for questions of intent. Seeing no questions of intent, this will return next week. So with that, we've completed our business for this evening, and I'll open the floor for general closing announcements, starting with Senator Gopa.
So I'm going to talk about a principle called bike shedding. It's been brought up before, and the bike shedding, also known as Parkinson's law of triviality, describes our tendency to devote a disproportionate amount of our time to menial and trivial matters while leaving important matters unattended. please remember that. There's a whole story behind this. Our previous speakers talked about this, and please remember there's important bills we shouldn't be debating. Tabling, because funding is way more important to student organizations. The Papa John Center is holding a food insecurity competition at the MU next week from 5 to 8 during our Senate time, but if you guys can attend, there's $5,000 to be given out. And let's all congratulate Azan for talking to Teal Health Center and getting that doctor put in place, because we didn't spend any money to do that, and that's great. And no student money was put into it, and I want to remind everyone that just start asking people before you promise them money, because things can be done without money. I got an in-body machine to the gym. I thought we had to pay 10 grand to that. We didn't. They paid for it. And please do that. If you see something that needs to be paid for, tell them. They'll do it for free.
Senator Kammeier.
Okay. Sorry, I thought we were going to give a round of applause for Azan, so can we do a round of applause? Okay, completely unrelated. The thing that I was going to talk about is the donation request for the Iowa State Bookstore. So as Eric with a K, who is maybe still here, yes. As he mentioned, a few of us were tabling for homecoming, and we got to meet someone who actually worked for the Iowa State Bookstore, and they run the donation request. And essentially, I encourage everyone to just look it up, see what it is. It supports Iowa State in a lot of different ways, and if you know any significant alumni that have stuff that they would like to donate to the bookstore, they would very much so appreciate that. So thank you.
Senator Azan.
Okay, so we have 3 birthdays in this week, so I just want everyone to help me celebrate. I think Senator Snyder, Senator Jonathan, and we have Director Eric. I don't know, Eric Jr., Eric Sr., what do you guys prefer? Awesome, okay. So any volunteer who want to sing a song for them, or we can sing it together too, just to appreciate the work that they are doing. So Speaker Momney, you want to take a lead? We are singing the song. Okay, let's do it. Come on, I'm really bad in singing. Okay, we're going to sing a song together. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jonathan, Eric, and Snyder. Awesome.
Speech.
I say everyone who had a birthday should give a small speech or a closing statement. Or a closing statement.
Senator Agarwal, did you have an update? Or a closing announcement, rather? All right. FD Martinez.
Sweet. So on a little bit more of a serious note, just a clarification on some of the funding requests we're going to see this year. For transparency's sake, all of the funding requests that we get in, we're going to write a bill just exactly how they look, so you guys see exactly what we're getting in through funding requests. While we may know that the bill, some of the things are clearly funding ineligible, just so you guys see everything that's coming in, we're going to write it just how they sent it to us, and then in Finance Committee, we iron it out just a little bit. So just to clarify that for you guys. That's all I got. Happy Halloween.
Senator Snyder.
Halloween is very fun. Please stay safe. Whatever you do this weekend, please stay safe. Roll clones.
With that, are there any closing announcements that I'm missing? Right, and so with that, I don't have a whole lot myself for closing announcements. I would again thank everyone for dressing up for this meeting. I hope this was a bit of a fun departure from our business casual, business professional, sort of culture that we've established here. And so really cool costumes. I appreciate you all participating. The only thing I would add on kind of a parliamentary procedure note is I'd love if we could set the precedent of maybe you're just leaving the room to go somewhere else. Maybe you've talked to me and you have an exam or something else. If you're leaving, you do have the ability to remove yourself from the role. And so that kind of avoids situations where you leave, maybe no one catches catches it, I don't see you. And so that helps us keep the voter, the roll correct. And so if you're just able to keep that in mind, if you're ever leaving temporarily, you know you're going to be gone for a few minutes, or if you have another commitment, you've let me know ahead of time. I think that would be a good practice that we could set just to help things go smoothly. With that, I don't think I have anything else, and so I'll yield to the Vice Speaker.
For the post-homecoming cleanup event, I know the Sustainability Committee talked about it a little bit. I put the link to the form in our general chat if you're in a sorority or a fraternity and you want to do that. We're partnering with CPC and IFC, and it'll be great. And then also make sure you're writing down your office hours in the binder. It's important that you write it down so that I can make sure you were there. Thank you.
All right, y'all, don't leave yet. First, just a little point of information. When you go and submit a bill to me, you need to have your name and a co-signer's name. That co-signer, it should be your name for she, her, themselves, and another senator's name. It should be that senator's name first before any honorary co-signers. And for future reference, please make sure that the person that you put as a co-signer knows that they are your co-signer. You can request for me to be your co-signer. I might say no, and that's okay. I am not obligated to co-sign every single bill. And further, if you have any honorary co-signers, make sure that they know that they are on your bill. And that's all I have to say about co-signers. Just make sure that you're asking before you put people's names on bills. And then committees, if you have been here and you are not seated to a committee, you'll be getting an email from me with when you need to be seated to a committee or a nonfeasance will be issued. New senators, this does not apply to you if you just got here, obviously, but do start thinking about what committee you would like to be seated on. It does not have to be an internal committee. You are open to external committees. Find whichever one works best for you. And then the only other thing that I have is new senators. I will be sending you the packet for new senators within the week, and give that a read. And please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions and contact personally if you have any questions about your office hours. With that, happy Halloween. Motion to adjourn. Go Cyclones.
With that, we are adjourned.